I'm Deanna.
And I'm Abby, and today we will be interviewing Beth Burkemper. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do for a living?
So I own and operate Midwest Frame and Gallery. So we are here today. This is a custom framing shop, but we also have artists, local and regional artists work, and some other artwork for sale. Big thing though is custom framing. So generally speaking, almost anything that you would want on your wall, we could figure out how to put it on the wall. And behind us we have a lot of flat two-dimensional pieces, but some of the things that come in are not two-dimensional, they're three-dimensional, and so we work through how to put that into a frame so that you can hang it on the wall.
What were some of your challenges of middle school?
You know, it's a rough time. You're growing, people grow at different times and at different stretches. So, you know, you're always comparing yourself to everyone else, and that's not how we work. Our bodies do the things that they want to do when they want to do them. So I think the physical part was hard, more than anything else, I would say.
How was high school different from middle school?
More homework, more activities, a little more responsibility, just seemed faster paced in general. You also start, in my high school, again I didn't go here, you kind of decided what track you were on, if you were going to be on college prep track or if you were going to a technical school. You started tracking in those directions. And not that, I mean, it wasn't locked in by any means, but if you thought you were going to college, you had certain classes that you were expected to take. If you were going to technical school, that was a whole nother route with other different expectations.
What did you like about high school?
The after-school activities, mostly. I mean, let's be honest, no one loves homework, no one loves to study, or very few, I guess, but it's part of learning, it's part of school. So what I liked the most was not having to worry about the expectations. I ran track, I ran cross country, so that was fun.
What were some of your challenges in high school?
So I think just balancing and trying to figure out what I wanted to do, not worry about what my friends were doing necessarily. Seeing things that they were doing that I didn't think were good for them. It's kind of you're getting more and more to adulthood, so your life gets a little more complicated.
What are the 3 main attributes you think one needs to go to college and graduate?
3, okay, so again, hard work. Tenacity, or just sticking it out even when the times are bad. Having faith that the classes you take, which sometimes is not obvious at all, will help you in the future. For instance, I was in my master's program, so I already had a bachelor's degree. I'd already finished 4 years. I went back to do a master's degree, so that was all business classes. And I was sitting in one class thinking, I will never ever use this stuff. But, you know, I want a good grade, but I know I will never use this information. And now that I own this shop and it is a mini manufacturing plant, I use that class, and that is the one book I have by my desk so that I can look back and figure out answers to a few questions I've come up with.
What is your current position? What does that entail?
So I'm owner-operator, so that means this whole building is under my management, and that's the outside too. So I have to take out the trash and mow the lawn, which is probably the least exciting, but it absolutely has to be done. But the more fun things are designing the frame projects, working with people who are coming in for my help. So downstairs is a full shop, and we do almost all of the work here in this little building. So it's a kind of a mini manufacturing plant. And when I say mini, it is very small, but from start to finish, the project comes here and we work on it and finish it. So this is a computerized mat cutter. In the old days, so for instance, when I was your age, this was the only type of mat cutter there was. This is computerized, so I tell the program what size I want and shape and a lot of information I can tell the computer, and it's going to cut for me. But the big thing is, this did not exist when I was in middle school. So if you think of it in your terms, you have no idea what jobs you could have by the time you get out of school or really my age. Technology is changing things. So I can tell it, I've already told the program what size and shape. Now I'm going to tell it to cut. So that took just a few seconds. This would have taken a lot longer. A lot more mistakes can be made. I learned how to use this, but I use it very rarely. Now I prefer to use the computerized mat cutter. So we start with lengths of wood, usually 8 to 10 feet, and we will cut them down to a more manageable size using a chop saw. Then over here is the miter saw that cuts the 45-degree angle so that when we join it over here, we get 90 degrees. So we've just made a circle through the room, and then we take the finished frames out the door where we finalize the projects in the clean part. So this is the dusty, we've got sawdust getting kicked up, it's kind of dirty in here. We want to keep this part away from the clean area.
What do you like about the job? Are there any challenges?
I like the creativity that I get to display. I can't say I'm very artistic, but I can see things as a final project, and so I get to use my creativity in that way. So that's what I like. Yes, there are challenges. There are many things to do. Many things break. We're trying to fix them. We're trying to figure out how to get projects done on time. So yes, it is very challenging, but it's a lot of fun too.
What skills, traits, or characteristics helped you get into college?
So to get into college, obviously hard work in getting grades, keeping them up so that I would be accepted. You know, you kind of have to stick out the rough parts. So kind of tenacity. You have to know that there will be some bad parts, but you have to push through and get through, and you'll have good parts too. You have to focus on the good, even when you've had a bad day or a hard class or whatever the situation.
What do you think keeps people from graduating high school or college?
I think lack of support, and I do think the school is there to support you. But it's hard when you're, I'm going to say young, to see how this is going to help you in the future. You just think you're stuck in these classes. So I think sometimes if you don't have all people surrounding you completely, so you get the support from school, but you need it all the way around when you go home, your other friends. I think it's hard work to get through school. And if you don't have great support, or if you have other people saying, oh, you don't need that, it's not going to get you anywhere in the future, that makes it harder. So I think lack of support, the fact that it is hard, you take classes that you don't love sometimes. That isn't to say it won't help you later on, but you get that. You get teachers that you don't love, and you tend to remember the bad parts, but just hanging in there, I think, is hard sometimes. And we all have family issues and personal issues that, you know, not everyone knows about. So just trying to stick it out and the lack of support. So if you can surround yourself with as much support as you can, I think that always helps.